I'm telling you that they are literally creating surveillance around speech and are arresting people and have built laws into our government and in many states, 38, that have laws that can put you in jail for things that you say about somebody else. You drop a frog in boiling water, it jumps out because the water's too hot. You put it in warm water and slowly turn up the heat, it stays put. And by the time the water is boiling, the frog is dead. Biologists will tell you that the frogs actually do jump out. The metaphor is not literally true, but the metaphor is culturally true. You do not notice when freedom dies when it's 1 degree at a time being changed. That is the entire point. If the United States tries to pass a law tomorrow that said we're going to scan your face at the airport, store your biometric ID in a federal database, track every single thing you do, and make it a law to require every single thing be run through that filter before you buy, eat, say, go, do anything, the law wouldn't pass. They would have to pass it one at a time, okay? And that's where we're already seeing us today. 2005, Congress passed something called the Real ID Act. Real ID, REALID. Original deadline was 2008, and they extended it. They extended it some more, extended it again, and the deadline finally took effect in May of 2025, May 7th. Now, if you want to fly domestically, let's see if I can find the here. This is ID face scans expands facial recognition to 80 U.S. airports. Plans nationwide rollout ahead of 2025 Real ID deadline, December 30th, 2024. Let me see what this is. Okay, anyways. So TSA has rolled out facial recognition cameras and scanners, and they're called CAT-2, CAT2, over 80 U.S. airports as of late of 2024 and rolled out through 2025 with nationwide plans. And TSA says the photos are deleted. That's what they say. Trust us. 1 degree, right? 1 degree. That's what they said. Just trust us. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. So let me go back to my console here. If we click this, so Real ID Act enforced May 7th, 2025. All right. Now let's click degree 2. Biometric phone unlock circuit split. In April of 2024, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in United States versus Payne, Payne, that police can compel you to unlock your phone with your fingerprint. They forcibly grabbed his thumb and pressed it against his iPhone during a traffic stop. The court said no different from a blood draw, not a Fifth Amendment violation. In January of 2025, the DC Circuit ruled the opposite way, and then the federal circuit split, heading to SCOTUS until the decision was made. And depending on what state you're in, the answer is yes or no. That's another degree. All right. So I have the American bar right here, but it keeps asking me to like log in. Yeah, compelled biometrics. Yeah, I can't see it here. But yeah, they're compelling biometrics. This was March 12, 2025 written, and this is in the United States. All right. So another degree up. So it says Ninth Circuit, April 2024, police can force your fingerprint to unlock your phone. I don't have face scan or fingerprint on my phone. They cannot, in January 2025, they cannot head it to SCOTUS, passwords protected, biometrics not. All right. So we're moving on to the next. Degree 3, 25 states with active age verification laws. And this is for adult content. June 27th, 2025, the Supreme Court in Free Speech Coalition versus Paxton, Paxton, upheld the Texas age verification law 6-3. So Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the opinion. The court applied intermediate scrutiny instead of strict scrutiny to digital speech regulation. Sounds like jargon. It's not. The constitutional ceiling for state speech regulation in this country just got lower. So that's another degree. Will it show? Let me show. Here's one right here. State laws for adult content. An ever-growing number of states in the USA have recently enacted about half have already implemented several laws mandating age verification. We've compiled a list detailed these laws, their effective dates. And so here's all the states with the law, with the actual law requiring, and then the bills under consideration. This is AVP Association. I could put it in the chat if you want it. Okay. So now we're getting more degrees up. And then you have SCOTUS, Doctrinal Free Speech Coalition versus Paxton. Okay. And this stalled in the House. So it passed the Senate in July of 2024 with a vote of 91-3, and then 91-3 United States Senate. And then it was bipartisan, stalled in the House, reintroduced in 2025. Both versions impose a duty of care enforceably by the FTC and 50 state attorneys general. The duty of care language is the same legal mechanism that the United Kingdom they used for Online Safety Act used to justify their arrest. So here's another degree. Okay. Now, if we go to the next degree, where are we at? 38. Oh, we're at the next one. So KOSA passed Senate 91-3, bipartisan duty of care language enforced. 50 state AGs, same legal mechanism of UK. And then we've got 38 states with the IHRA, anti-Semitism laws on the books. Foreign aligned definitions of acceptable speech. All right. Look at where we are. Tyranny temperature. So I'm going to say this carefully. Anti-Semitism, it is real. It's evil. It should be opposed in every corner of American life, but so should all like racism. I don't think that one group should be specific. We can say all that we want about Muslims, but as soon as you talk about them, like you can't even say who they are anymore on the internet. I'd be embarrassed to be Jewish, to be honest with you. You can't say my religion, my race, like where I come from. You can't say the country that I come from. How embarrassing is that? Imagine if you were watching some YouTuber in Spain, and every time he said American or USA, he got his shit demonetized, or he wouldn't even say an American. He would say something else. That's where we are right now. That's where I'm at right now. My position right now, as I speak to you, I don't even want to say it. Juice box. Crazy, man. No foreign government should have any power to define what a U.S. citizen is allowed to say. That got us to this temperature up, all right? That principle doesn't just apply to Boston. It applies to every government on earth, Boston in the Middle East. If you don't know someone, ask someone in the chat. The First Amendment does not have an asterisk, or the founders did not write Congress shall make no law except about this country that we're allied with. They wrote no law, no law. I mean, it's pretty freaking clear. So here are some companies, because you should know who's building this. We've got Clearview, all right? Clearview AI is based in New York, founded by Hone Tonat, and they have a database containing 50 billion human face prints, and they scrape them from the open internet without your consent. They sell access to law enforcement and the government. You have Palantir. You have ICE Homeland Security investigations with $9.2 million contracts with Clearview, CBP. I think CBP might be California Border Patrol, has $225,000 contracts for access to over 60 billion images. They're literally, ICE is getting immigration operating system contract. ICE ImmigrationOS. Do I need to zoom in? Look at this. This is what they're calling it right here. Where is it? Right here. Look at this right here. $30 million ICE ImmigrationOS contract, immigration operating system. I don't care so much about, obviously I want people to be able to come in and immigrate, but you're building an operating system called ImmigrationOS, the $145+ million investigative case management platform, co-founded by Peter Thiel, Stephen Miller, Trump immigration architect, holds Palantir stock. You've got NSA Utah, 3 to 12 EBs, exabytes of storage capacity in Bluffdale, Utah. One U.S. government server holds more than the entire Stasi archive. 100,000 square foot of allocated server space in Snowden in 2013. 5 billion mobile location records a day, 42 billion internet records per month. Open data city, 42 trillion filing cabinets versus Stasi's 48,000. Palantir has received over $900 million in federal contracts since President Trump's second term began. New York Times has the public records as well. Do I have it here? Let's see. I don't think I do. But yeah. And then we have Stargate, of course. And I want to make something clear. Well, first, Palantir's investigative case management platform is the backbone. It's the backbone of ICE's enforcement, and it's ballooned to over $145 million. And the part really that should make every one of us kind of sit up or be pissed off is that Stephen Miller President Trump's chief immigration policy architect, holds financial stake in Palantir. He profits the more Palantir does surveillance. They are profiting off of our surveillance in more ways than just building the company and profiting off of the company. They're actually investing while they're in the White House on a company that's surveilling and collecting mass data on us. Am I the only one that thinks this is insane? The president's chief immigration policy architect holds financial stake in Palantir. Let me pull this link right here. All the ways Palantir is assisting Trump's abusive removal campaign. How culpable is the company of the constitutional and human rights violations of the deportation drive? Palantir recently, in its role in providing tools to facilitate the violence, lawlessness, and human rights violations of President Trump's war on immigrants. I don't see them deporting any. I see them in the streets acting like mongrels. We don't see deportations in the way that it should be. NSA's Utah data center in Bluffdale that I just mentioned before it broke ground under Obama. They're all the same. It's a uniparty. Okay. Obama, Joe Biden's administration built FISA's 702 back into law. Barack Obama's administration ran PRISM, PRISM. George W. Bush's administration built the NSA Utah data center. They're all in on it. Okay. They're all in on it. 3 and 12 exabytes. An exabyte is 1 billion gigabytes. Edward Snowden revealed in 2013 that the NSA can collect 5 billion mobile phone location records per day and 42 billion internet records per month. Stargate, on top of all of that, is the federal AI infrastructure project announced by President Trump, one day after his second inauguration. $500 billion, $500 billion, partnered with OpenAI, Oracle, SoftBank, MGX from Abu Dhabi's Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is also built into Kevin O'Leary's data center, MGX. NVIDIA, Microsoft, ARM, Cisco, UAE alone pledged $1.4 trillion of U.S. investment. 1.4 T. That's from the UAE, United Arab Emirates. So where is all this compute going? Officially, AI productivity. Practically, it's the infrastructure layer for whatever surveillance the regime of the federal government decides it wants to build over the next few years, decade maybe. You do not build $500 billion in federal AI infrastructure for ChatGPT. Sorry, bro. You build it because someone wants to host a national biometric data lake or a river. So let me bring this all together. All right. The UK arrests 12,000 people a year for online speech. The Aussies, the Australians, removed 4.7 million accounts in just 1 week using face scans and behavioral signals. The EU just fined a single platform 120 million euros under a content control law that gives the European Commission star chamber level authority. Brazil banned a global platform on the order of a judge. Canada proposed life imprisonment for hate-motivated speech before being forced to walk it back. And in the United States, 25 states have age verification laws, and SCOTUS just made it easier for states to regulate digital speech. 38 states have anti-Semitism laws on their books. Clearview AI holds 50 billion face prints of Americans. Palantir is on a $900 million federal contract run. And the NSA Utah data center holds more raw surveillance data than the Stasi ever dreamed of. And $500 billion in federal AI compute is being built out as we speak. We're not headed there. We are there. The frog is in the pot. The water is hot. The only question is whether you're going to notice in time before you boil out. So what do you do? What do we do? Right? What can we do? So read primary sources, know your state laws, support independent. I didn't put this. It's like support independent journalism, but it's true though, because if people like us can't speak, if you don't join the private communities, if you don't, they're going to end up finding a way to turn this off. If you think about what they're doing, what they are building. If we don't find a way, that's why I build everything for myself to operate. That's why I built my own version of Patreon, Club Vatra. That's why I built it. So I decided to do it before, but when I saw Tyler Oliveira get banned from Patreon, I was like, thank God I started building this because I control it. What are you going to ban my platform from people to use it? I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough one, but at least I have that. Next thing is to actually build my own Discord. And the next thing is to build my own YouTube. So if that's what it takes, one by one, I guess. But this stuff right here is super important. There's a reason why things are done this way. Independent journalism allows me to be here, and you need to know your state laws. I'm telling you that they are literally creating surveillance around speech and are arresting people and have built laws into our government. And in many states, 38, that have laws that can put you in jail for things that you say about somebody else. You need to know your state laws. I need to learn mine as well. I'm in California. Not passively, like pulling up your state's age verification law, your state's IHRA resolution law, your state's data privacy laws, know them, track them. When your state legislator proposes a new one, call them by name. Call these legislations by name when they're proposing things. Support independent journalism, not because I'm asking to support this channel, though I am, but support whatever independent journalist that is investigating stories that you live through, that you're experiencing, that you watch and that you enjoy. Big tech and big government would prefer we all go away. It's up to you. You're the one that gets to decide if they do or not. Talking about any of this with your spouse, your neighbor, your kids when they're old enough. The single most powerful counter mechanism to soft tyranny is a public that knows it is happening. The Stasi only worked because East Germans were afraid to speak openly to each other. Do not let that happen here. We can't let this happen. Speak openly. Someone said it, I don't know if it was online, but they said our rights, like our Constitution and everything in it, needs to be exercised. If we don't exercise our rights by going and buying a firearm, by going and doing X, Y, and Z, they track all the data. Okay, so if people are not buying firearms, they'll say, well, the Second Amendment, whatever it is, they are tracking the data and they're ready to pull those amendments out, pull the Constitution out, amend this, whatever that. The founders knew exactly what they were doing when they wrote the amendments. The First Amendment. They had watched John Peter Zenger sit in a jail for 8 months in New York, and they had read about the Star Chamber. They watched the Crown prosecute the truth, and they wrote 5 words at the start of the Bill of Rights: Congress shall make no law. That's the wall. Right now, the wall has cracks. Right now, the cracks are widening. We're not in the United Kingdom yet. We're not in Australia. We're not in Brazil. But every mechanism that got those countries to where they are has an American analog already filed, drafted, or upheld by the courts. The work is to recognize the cracks while there's still time to repair the wall.